we've shown the fans that this has started. The tractors were on there ripping up that, I think it's 25 mil or whatever it is that you do. Yeah. Natural question from the fans, why are you doing this? You've just been highly commended, you're in the top 3, pitch must be fine. Why are you doing this and not saving the money for elsewhere?
Well, what we've got to be careful with is, although we can titivate the top and make what the spectator, the fan sees on the top, there's all kinds going on underneath. So we've got issues with which is the pH, which is the acidity. So perennial ryegrass likes to grow in pH 5.5. We'll all remember the litmus test and all that at school and all the rest of it, and the blue and the red. So at the minute in places it's 4, which is far too acidic for kind of grass to be healthy. Now there's another factor for last season. So you put all those factors in which we've talked about, plus the grass is sort of I'm not enjoying this. So to adjust that acidity and get it back to sort of 5.5, 6 on the scale, we put lime in, which neutralises it back to 5.5, 6. So to get that in, we have to plough it up. It's just like any, like the farmers do, turn it over and work it round and plant the next crop kind of thing, So we're doing it for those reasons. We're doing it to get more what we call trace elements in: magnesium, boron, manganese, all kinds of little just trace elements, just like you and me, Andy, when our blood's rushing round and all the rest of it, that we need a trace of whatever, vitamin D, vitamin B12, all the rest of it. It's just the same. And if you haven't got that, you're a little bit sort of not quite right. And then add on to that Saturday, Tuesday, all of a sudden it's it's not just the playing side of it, it's the recovery of, right, football's finished and then we need to get it back to life for the next time, so we can do that. Also, obviously, with all the machinery that goes on and the players' feet, it gets compact, and it hasn't been turned over and aerated to this extent since May 2015, pre-Desmond. So that's way overdue, really. So that's probably the main reason. And because we're doing that, it's an opportunity for changing the acidity back a bit, getting some of those minerals in and all those things back to sort of not quite square one, but it's the opportunity to do it,
So you corrected me already, the 10 mils, not the 25 mils that's been taken off already. What is the process of work that's going on now, Dave? What will happen over the next weeks and months?
So the next phase on this, now the 10 mils gone, is that'll get cultivated, and then the lime will go on, the trace elements will go on, then that'll be cultivated again, and then we've got 87 tonnes of fibre sand concentrate going on, which is sand mixed with the fibres, very concentrated, and then that goes on, and then that gets cultivated in, which obviously dilutes them, and then that gives us a concentrate of, I think, 0.3%, which is okay, gets us back a little bit to where we want to be. To put it totally back in proportion, I think we would have gone for 312 tonnes, but obviously, you said it, budgets and all the whatnot, so we can only chip away at it bit by bit. And this time, there's a little bit more on the budget to do that. So 87 tonnes of fibre sand concentrate spread on, cultivated in. That takes about 2 or 3 cultivations to get it all nicely mixed. Bit of handwork around the sprinklers, and then a stone raker kind of machine, level it up, consolidate, and then seed.
And when will we be ready? When will it be all grassed up and looking lovely again?
Well, hopefully we should be seeded by the end of the week, end of this week. So that's in good shape. And then we just, obviously the sprinklers, but that water's not quite the same as rainwater. I mean this pitch has changed dramatically prior to taking the grass off, just with some rain. Because we had a very dry April, but cold. Even that little bit of rain just at the start of May, ironically after the last game, you could see the pitch just picked up straight away. Probably acidic rain, but we'll take it.
So is this a short-term fix, Dave? Is this for this season? Will it get us through, or does it last longer than that?
It's a bit longer term, Andy, but you could, if you had the budget, you'd probably do it every year. And you wouldn't necessarily have to add the tonnage of fibre sand back in if your concentrate's okay, but you would just plough it up just for aeration purposes, to get air in and get it oxygenated again. A little bit looser, easy for the roots to get down. And then the more the roots can take in, so the healthier plant. But we've tried to do it prior to sort of Desmond, we tried to do it on a 2-year period where we'd turn over 1 year and then just scrape the top of the next year. That's it's such the demands now are because of the EFL have brought in standards with the pitch marking and all the whatnot. There's you can't, you're in the dock if it's not up to scratch kind of thing, so they've raised the standard, which is good, but obviously there's a cost to keeping it at that level.
Training pitch in Crichton, what are you doing to those? Training
pitch in Crichton is some sand going on the back, 100 tonnes of sand on the back pitch, and some sand up at Crichton, and then I'll be doing the rest of the sort of aeration work up there. Just we can do so much ourselves, that keeps the costs down. Bit of seed, bit of fertiliser, and off we go again. I mean, the time scale they're up there this week, aren't they? So, and then next week, and then they might be back on the back pitch before the end of June. So the windows are as small as they can probably get to get anything done. I mean, we'd probably want to do more on the back pitch out here, but given the time scale, you just can't do it. Such is the demand of the squad coming back in June.
Almost become an urban myth that there's underground heating pipes here at Brunton Park. What's the actual fact behind that, Dave?
Yeah, they're there. We can have a look when we start doing the other bits and pieces. Yeah, they're there. They just they run from the east stand across to the paddock, loop back, and then then there's 2 tails, and then the next one goes and comes back. I think it's 26 kilometres altogether. So they're all there.
Can we use them?
Well, yeah, I suppose they could be plumbed up at some stage. Yeah.
Of course.
Or even some of them, even the shaded third, if you want to call it that, or the shaded half. But then you'd get into, I've got half a pitch on under soil heating and I've got half a pitch there isn't, so then you've got sort of 2 different kind of pitches to manage, I guess. But I don't know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Last one, Dave, when you turn around and you have a look at what it looks like now, and you know that it's not that far away when we'll be playing football in Anger again, do you get worried at all about, or nervous at all, that it won't be ready, that it won't go the way you want it to?
No, not really. You get a bit anxious if things aren't happening by about week 4, week 5. There's perhaps gaps in the seed drills and bits and pieces like that. But it always gets leaf spot disease, which is a fungal disease, around about week 3, week 4. Which if you don't get that tackled, then you lose a weaker growth. So when you've got these windows, you need the biggest window you can get to do the work, because there's going to be potentially there's a week lost for a bit of ill health. We could have a heat wave, which is you're sort of watering it almost non-stop in those circumstances, and then because you're watering it, the fertiliser that's in there and all the good you've done is just getting sort of washed through faster, so you're having to put a bit more on, so the costs go up, so everything. But the bottom line is just a bit of a mad rush to get it ready for whenever that may be, Absolutely.